Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Welcome to Kill Me Now. I'm Judy Gold, your host, and I have a co-hosty person who sits not allowed to talk, Lauren Hennessy. And we're here today with Christian Finnegan. Hi, Christian.
Oh, my gosh. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
It's such a pleasure to be here.
Oh, Christian. You know.
Wow. That is a classic smattering.
Yeah. As a Jew, I love the name
like a
Christian.
Tuesday night at Stand Up New York.
Yeah.
That's your next album.
Hey, Blatten,
Classic
Kevin,
smattering.
stop it.
Sorry, boss.
I'm not ready for you to talk yet.
I love you.
So, Christian.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, my gosh.
Kill Me Now. Now,
try and stop me.
Christian, you know the Kill Me Now is a podcast about what pisses you off.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you've known me for a long time, and I happen to be pissed off a lot.
Yeah. It's your brand.
What do you mean my brand? It's how I grew up.
I know.
grew up in a house of pissed off people.
One of the things that I've always been jealous of certain comedians, you being one, is that your personality and your comedy are so firmly aligned in the same direction that I don't feel that. Like Bill Burr is another one of those guys where it's just like, oh, your natural way of talking is stand-up comedy in the same way that yours is. And so there isn't – I mean, obviously what you do on stage is punchier. You're adding tags, punchline, structure, et cetera, and so forth. But you're still the exact same person. And you're perceived as such. Right. I have always kind of been a bit of a tweener in that sense. Because
but it has – I mean, sometimes it doesn't help me because I'm also an actor and, you know, I've done other things. And people think, oh, she can't do this because that – but and it's
the difference between being like an actor that disappears into a role and a Robert De Niro who's always going to be Robert De Niro or Jack Nicholson. Like Jack Nicholson does Jack Nicholson.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's we talked about this before. The one of the things that pisses me off is that they use the word brave for actors all the time. It was a very brave. Like if a straight actor plays a gay, or had to lose weight, or you know whatever, so brave. They were, you know, and they're getting paid billions of dollars, and they were so brave.
And I know what they're going for, but the word they're looking for, I think, is vulnerable. You know, I think that you know a good actor. You know, that
allows themselves
to be in a raw, open space and to be able to operate in that emotional state.
May I join the conversation,
God,
boss?
what?
Okay. I think that they give actors way too much credit. They really should be crediting the writers for the brave and vulnerable writing. Because
but
as
also
an actor,
the director.
And the director, yes. But the actor, all your job is to do is to communicate from the writer to the audience. You're a mouthpiece. You're a model that is supposed to wear the clothes and let the clothes shine. So you wear the words. You let the words in the story shine. They don't see you.
Okay.
They see the character.
Right,
that is not a brave actor. That is a person doing their job.
Okay. Thanks a lot. And I really appreciate that.
Anytime, boss.
Okay. So, I have a lot of things that I'm pissed off. First of all, let's start. Is there anything that is pissing you off?
See, that's what I guess I was sort of alluding to is that I am way angrier in reality than I think people assume.
Right. But are you a WASP?
No, I grew up Irish Catholic.
Okay, so there is a lot of anger.
I know to Jews that means the same thing, but
right. You know, like I have my friend Kate Moira Ryan, who you know, it's like I just wait for the nasty, vitriolic email to come over something ridiculous. You know, and
I'm more about stifling it. You know, keep it under wraps, and then let it explode.
Right, and then have an explosion. I do the explosion. I do. And I feel bad after the explosion. You know what's amazing is I'll have the explosion and I feel like I've worked out or, you know what I mean? I'm the fucking host! I'm sorry, I don't know what that was.
It's cathartic.
Yeah, it really is. And they say people who do, they say people who explode actually live longer than those who hold everything in.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah, it's like if you constantly have to I don't know, poop.
You're letting out the poison.
Yeah, if you're holding it in, or like when you sneeze, if you try to swallow that sneeze, that's worse for you than just letting it out.
Right. Now, Christian,
Yes.
with a name like Christian, I'm going to assume that you're a Christian.
No,
I don't need
nothing.
Jesus fucking carrying the cross across here.
No, I'm an atheist, ironically.
Really?
But my first name is actually Fletcher.
Oh, that's right, Fletcher
Christian Finnegan. But
where'd you get the Fletcher from?
You know, it's funny because, you know, Fletcher Christian is a famous historical figure.
Right.
And everybody thinks like, oh, your parents must be history buffs or
Right.
literature buffs. Nope. My older brother was named after my father's father, and I was named after my mother's father. But they wanted to call me Chris.
What's his name?
His name was Fletcher. Yeah.
Now, I found something where'd you grow up, first of all?
Outside of Boston.
Right. I find it very interesting that you went to boarding school.
Just 2 years.
Now, did you live at the boarding school?
Yes, I did.
See,
it was a performing arts school.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I did my
Right.
research.
Somebody knows how to use the Google machine.
No, I do other things. I read articles. I do.
No.
Fucking talk to me. All right, anyway.
She watches the news.
I read the paper.
On the toilet.
I'm in the news a lot.
No, I read the paper more than I watch
Yeah.
it. All right, anyway, the point is that I'm at the age, like Henry's 18, he's in college, and then Ben's 13, and he's going into high school. And a lot of people are doing the boarding school. Like a lot of people do the boarding school thing. And I want to know, like you went away to boarding school. So your junior and senior year?
Yeah.
You were not living at home with your family.
No.
Did you feel rejected?
No, I actually went to boarding school to get out of a family situation. Honestly, that was one of the probably main two components of me going. Like the first part, maybe the more important part, was just that I wanted to. At the time, I thought I wanted to be an actor,
right?
And I was kind of falling through the cracks in my public school, and a lot of that was just because I was in kind of a messed up situation that I wanted to get out of.
Are you going to explain the mess?
Well, I can. My mother and I are estranged, and she is severely mentally ill. Mm-hmm. And when my parents split up, that kind of my freshman, sophomore year of high school were not good. Everybody always accused me of being on drugs, which is hilarious because I never even smoked a cigarette, but I had severe insomnia and I would go like 3 days without sleeping.
Oh, that's the worst. My sister has that.
Yeah. And I would just be in a daze all the time.
Right.
And
well,
so,
of course, your mother's mentally ill.
Yeah. And I had a younger brother who was like sick his whole childhood and he had a heart transplant and all that.
Is he okay?
Stuff. No, he passed away. But
oh God, let's press kill me now.
And my older brother passed away too. Isn't it fun?
Wait. This is fucking fascinating because you look at you.
That's what I'm saying.
And you think like, oh my God, he's so privileged. He's so handsome.
Thank you.
2 dead brothers. Is your mother alive?
As far as I know.
And your father?
Yes, she is still alive. Yes, my father is still alive, yes.
Ugh, they lost 2 kids. That's the worst.
It really, and my mother, we have some contact now. I mean, when my older brother passed away, my younger brother passed away in 2001, and my older brother passed away in 2008. 7 or 8. I get mixed up. But, and then I kind of had to re-enter the scene because my older brother was sort of the mom maintenance person.
How did he pass?
He had just had a heart attack, dropped dead at 37.
That is fucking... Dick fucking Cheney is alive.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
And Karl Rove. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why that happened.
Well, I mean, my younger
that's a kill me now moment. Yeah.
My younger brother had a heart issue. My older brother had a heart attack.
Now, do you go to cardiology?
I have a leaky valve, but it's nothing major. It's something.
But you
small.
get it checked.
I haven't in a while.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know.
All right, so you had an awful childhood, is what I'm saying.
Everybody who did.
Look,
who
that's bad. I got teased, and
things happen.
But, my mother was mentally ill in a normal sense.
And so and I don't mean to just. Sometimes when you say like, "Oh, my mom was crazy," people are like, "Yeah, my mom was crazy too."
No, you're like, "No, my mom was."
It's
fucking
a slightly
crazy.
different situation, but that said. My father, who I was not close with at all when growing up, because he he was an alcoholic and
Right.
kind of had that, when you're married to a person who's mentally ill, you tend to sort of check out,
right,
you
of
zone
course.
out.
Yeah.
And so he was typical suburban dad, quiet desperation, the whole deal. And it was only when they split up that he actually kind of became a really awesome dad.
Right.
And we have a really good relationship now.
Now, what did he do for a living?
He was a tax appraiser. He had a little company of his own, and this is not very interesting, so I'll keep it very brief. Every 10 years, every town has to do what they call a reappraisal,
Right.
where they'll decide who has to pay how much
Right.
taxes. And so they'd hire a company like my dad's to come in and do that.
So
he was the
can
one
someone
who
wake
got
me
me
up
on.
when the story's over?
It's over.
All right.
It's
All right,
over.
thank you.
What else about taxes, Christian?
Let me tell you more about reappraisals.
My father was a tax attorney.
Okay, well
he
then.
wrote the tax laws for the state of New Jersey.
Wow.
Anyway,
I've heard those are some of the best.
yeah. Anyway, he's dead. Now, you have this terrible childhood. You go to now. Did the boarding school save you?
Yes.
It did.
Undoubtedly. I say that because it was a weird school. It was a school for performing artists and visual art, and it was kind of what I always say. It was fuck ups and prodigies.
Right.
It was like Taiwan's best cello player.
Right.
And Dave.
Right.
Who got kicked out of 3 boarding schools.
Right,
so I
right,
guess
right.
he's a painter.
Right, right.
And so it was a lot of goth kids
Right.
and
Did you have a
different
roommate?
sexualities and yes. My first year I did.
Who was it?
Oh, it was so crazy too because I went there and I was so concerned, like, oh my God, these are all ballet dancers.
Right.
And, what if I have a gay roommate? Is that going to be weird?
Right.
I got the one redneck. It was so bizarre. He's from upstate New York, and he was a painter. He's an unbelievably gifted
Right.
painter. But he hung a big American flag on the wall the first day, and he would chew tobacco, and he had a 2-liter bottle of soda that he
Spit?
cut the top off of and used it as
Spit into
yeah.
it?
And
Oh, God.
He would change it like once every 3 weeks.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Oh, you had a spittoon.
But
Yeah,
why
yeah.
do you? So you were afraid of getting a gay?
Well, I wasn't afraid. It was just like, is that going to be weird? Sleeping alone in a room with someone for the first time, essentially.
Well, yeah, because you
that
know
wasn't a
how it would
relative.
feel to sleep in a room with a girl like that you didn't know for the first time.
I mean, that would be weird. I mean, it wasn't a big. It was just what was funny to me is just how opposite the situation was.
Right. And then
he used to make fun
you
of me
would
and
have
call me
no
a
issue
poet
with
warrior.
that now.
Now.
Okay.
No.
All right. So then you go.
He's like the biggest fag we know. Come
I
on.
know it's a running theme on
I
Teasing a Girl.
have
how-
asked Lauren to consult me before anything comes out of her mouth. Okay. And it just doesn't happen.
How is she supposed to? He supposed to consult you?
No,
before he visually
he give me a
consult you?
look.
Yeah.
It's as soon as you get my pronoun right once, I will consult you. How about
He needs to consult me. Anyway, back to you, Christian.
Yes.
Did you go to college?
Yes, I did.
Where?
New York University.
Oh, NYU. That's
NYU.
expensive.
It is expensive.
And did you go to the performing arts?
I did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got really lucky in the sense that my dad's business really boomed for about 10 years.
Right.
And it happened to dovetail with my sort of high school,
that's
college
perfect.
years. And then it all crashed. But yeah, I went to Tisch as an actor. And then halfway through, I switched to playwriting.
Did you go to Playwrights Horizon?
I did.
Nice.
did.
That's a great faction.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Lauren just handed me a piece of paper for everyone who's listening with my kill me now. Like I will tell Lauren my kill me now moments.
Yeah.
And I am just finding out that I found shrimp in my freezer. Now my kitchen is kosher because I grew up like that.
Yeah.
And it feels unnatural not to have a kosher kitchen.
Okay.
And I just wanted my kids to know you're a Jew, and I eat whatever I want outside, which is people say is hypocritical. But you know what? I have a Jewish home.
So yeah, you would eat shrimp out in the
Lauren,
world.
if you go outside, why don't you get coffee?
Oh, I thought you were getting to the shrimp thing.
Oh, so anyway, I come home and I find a bag of shrimp in my freezer. And I'm like, who the fuck put shrimp in my freezer?
Does that mean you have to call like Jewish Ghostbusters
No, I don't.
to come in?
No. It's not. I'm not that ridiculous. Okay. And I was like, how did I get? And Laura, you didn't fucking tell me you put the shrimp in.
Yes, I did. Okay, what had happened was, I'm really sorry about the shrimp in your freezer. I forgot about the kosher thing.
Hey,
all right, so what happened is,
know about that, right? Little shrimp in the freezer, am I right?
And then
I
I have the keys to Judy's
life.
I have the keys to Judy's apartment, so I like to go in there every once in a while and like I'll rub my dick on something, not tell her about it, or I'll put shrimp in her freezer and leave just to drive her nuts.
Just get to the fucking story.
So one of her crazy neighbors, her crazy older neighbors, comes up to me and is like, you have to come with me. You know, I just went to my doctor's and my cholesterol is out of the roof and I don't know what to do with this. And I'm just following her as she's talking me up to her,
what
apartment.
Floor?
The one above you, 6.
Someone from the 6th floor gave you shrimp.
So I followed her to her apartment. I don't know what the fuck is going on. She's like, this is my dog. This is where I sit and play piano, blah, blah, blah. Then she hands me a bag of frozen shrimp. She's like, I can't do it anymore. My cholesterol's too high. You got to take the shrimp. I can't throw it away.
She
and I'm like,
is this
breaded shrimp?
What color hair?
Gray.
What the hell
white.
does shrimp have to do with cholesterol?
No, not breaded shrimp. I have no idea. Just
it's like the healthiest...
I have no clue. I don't know anything about anything. So she hands me this frozen bag of shrimp. She's like, you got to take this. I have no idea what to do with it. I can't throw it away. And I'm like, okay. So I go back down to Judy's, to get some work done and rub my penis on something. And I put the shrimp in the freezer and I forget about it. And
was the woman like dementia-ish?
I'm assuming. Yeah. Now, she told me to give it to you. So
Judy.
To Judy.
Give it to Judy.
Yeah.
6th floor.
Yeah.
Piano.
She has a small dog.
Not Twyla on the 3rd floor.
No. This was the 6th floor. It was above you.
All right. Because Twyla has a tiny dog that she brings
It's New York
everywhere.
City.
This woman might have just seen a dog and taken it.
All right. Anyway, so that's number one. So, all right. So, Christian, you go to NYU.
Enraging.
What are you studying?
I went as an actor. And then after 3 semesters, I switched to playwriting, directing. And then by the time I graduated, I was interning at the Village Voice, and I thought I was going to be a writer. And then I realized I have no discipline.
So you decided to become a stand-up comedian.
That's when I got
Now, what year did you start the stand-up comedian?
It was a couple of years out of school. I worked in publishing for a couple of years after college, and I was like 24, I think, which is late. I wish I'd started maybe a year or 2 early. I wouldn't want to be one of those kids who started when I was 15.
Right.
I don't feel like those people have anything to talk about.
Yeah, I started around 19, and I kind of did have a little bit.
I mean, you seem like a person who's always kind of had a voice in the sense that, you know what I mean? You had a perspective, a point of view.
Yeah,
Whereas, when you see those people who started when they were in high school and it's like, okay, you got structure down, you craft jokes well, but who the fuck? You're just a guy doing stand-up.
Now, do you talk about any of this horrible family situation on stage?
I haven't. I've actually only in the last year or two kind of started to say it out loud just because, first of all, I don't want to feel like, oh, look at me.
Right.
But I haven't really, quote unquote, found my smile about it. Not that I'm depressed about it, but it's just I don't really have positive things to say about it. And so I just kind of keep my mouth shut on stage just because
thank you.
It would feel like therapy and not comedy. I wish that wasn't the case.
Yeah,
but
I do. I teach solo performance, and a lot of people come in with the therapy, and I make them not – I totally steer them away. I mean, you can talk about – something and not say it. You know what I mean? And have them...
You have to have an angle, you know, and at some point I might try to address it creatively in some way. I'm actually kind of kicking around and I should have finished it a long time ago, but I'm working on a pilot about actually a performing arts boarding school. Just,
That's great.
And
is it called Glee?
No.
I'm kidding.
No, but
did that piss you off? Tell me how much it pissed you off.
Because
tell me.
Because this has been an idea I've had for 10 years.
I know.
When Glee came out, it's like, this is totally pissed in my pool.
Tell me how pissed off you are.
Well, it's just that
I fucking know. I know.
Glee fucking sucked. And
I know
the people who like it are dumb. No,
right?
No, it's just that I feel like it's totally ruined. There's a great story about teenage artists, and that show has kind of made it so that a real one can't exist. Or not that it can't
or
exist.
else then you're copying.
No,
Exactly, because it's just so facile and just so like, oh, let's just take pop songs.
Right.
And, it I don't know.
It's a brand.
Yeah, and it's just it doesn't. I don't know.
Okay, I got it.
It's all the people I hated in.
Oh yeah,
Drama Club.
me too.
It's all
not
let's put on a
talking
show
about
people.
your situation.
She's talking to me right
All
now.
right, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I've had so many ideas,
But that's
and I'm
fine.
like, fuck,
They wrote
water
something
it
I didn't,
down.
so.
Yeah, they water it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. No. So, your publicist, Cambry.
Well, not anymore.
I know. I'm getting there.
Yes.
I'm doing a storytelling.
Get there.
Let me just ask you. This is just a kill me now thing.
Yeah.
I fucking hate when people make up words. Like, I hate it.
Okay.
Like, conversate. Someone said to me the other day.
This is a pet peeve. Not exactly, but a similar pet peeve.
Okay. I can't fucking deal with it. My cousin is a Rhodes Scholar. She says anyways. No. Okay. And New Year's. New Year's. It's New Year.
New Year or New Year's Eve.
You will never let me forget about that.
Happy New Year's. I fucking fuck.
Yeah.
And then the other, guesstimate. It's either a guess or an estimate.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I hate when people, first of all, like killing it. Makes me want to jump out of a fucking window.
Right. Shut up in the kitchen.
Oh, dude, you were killing it. You killed it. You killed it.
Right.
That's so beyond word to your mother to me at this point.
Right.
And I hate it when people will just say things and act as if like I'm the only one who's ever said that. Like
right.
You'll see like Entertainment Tonight report, people do that, or they'll say broke the internet. Oh, here's something that broke the internet this week. Just like this dumb meme
and
that people latch onto.
You fucking say the word.
Amazeballs.
Like, why do you have to fucking make up half? Like, you have no time to say the entire word.
Amazeballs is pretty amazeballs, though. You got to admit, feels good to say.
Whatever, go.
No, I don't mind when people do it on their own. Just like, hey, I came up with a funny little thing to say. But I hate when something is sort of out in the ether and then dumb, kind of lame people adopt it and act like they're being sassy and creative. I'm so weird because I said amazeballs. It's like you're the 800th person to say that in the last hour.
I'll start saying something like that ironically, and then it'll just become a part of my vocabulary.
That's the problem, is when you start saying things ironically and then you hear the irony in it, but the world just hears you saying it's kind of like what happened with the word retard. When I was a kid, everyone just said retard all the time, and nobody thought anything, oh, that kid's such a retard. And then in the sort of late 80s, early 90s, and that sort of my Gen X sort of that's not cool. Nobody says retard anymore.
Well, yeah, because I went to high school in the 70s, and band fag. I was a band fag.
Yeah.
And
that's just what it was.
And I was a queer bait.
Yeah. But you know how then...
And that's retarded.
But then in the mid to late 90s, there sort of became this ironic thing. It's like, I'm going to call this guy a retard. Wouldn't it be funny if I was the kind of person who said retard?
Right.
And then younger people just hear it, and then they're just saying it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
But
lost.
the other thing is a lot of people use that kind of politically correct vernacular in a way that sort of prohibits the conversation that needs to be spoken about. Like it prevents them from really,
like, give me an
if
example.
you say something politically correct, like African American or just whatever the word is,
which usually isn't actually correct.
Right. But can I finish my thought?
Yes, miss.
You use these terms to prevent yourself from really, if you said what you really meant to say,
you're right.
then you would have to have a conversation about it. But now this is like
it's a buffer.
Excuse. Yeah.
I find that on stage sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell jokes that are I know I'm not. Of course I'm a racist. Of course I am. I benefit from a racist system every day of my life. I feel like I'm pretty firm footing in terms of having my political ducks in a row in that sense. I'm probably could be better, but I think I'm okay. And so I feel like I can talk about this stuff. Like I have this joke, and I hate when people just quote jokes, but I have this joke. It's like, I want racial equality. I really want it in the same way that I want to get to the gym more often, and I want to write that novel. It's like, it's genuine, but it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
And I see people get like tense. Like, dude, what is this racist? It's like,
because
can't
no
we
one
just
thinks for
fucking
themselves.
talk about it?
No one fucking thinks for themselves.
Let's just all say the right words and then have the conversation go away.
Exactly. Complete knee jerk. This one said that. People take things out of context. Now, so your wife, Cambry, was your publicist. How did you guys meet?
I used to do a show at the Gershwin Hotel on 28th Street, like just a little alt show, and she had gotten together with a couple of
alt. Another annoying fucking word.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'll take. All
right, go.
I'll take that.
Just
Yeah. No, I'll accept that.
That's all right.
And she was meeting up with a couple of Blogger friends, the early days of Blogger.
Yeah.
And they had come to see one of the comedians, Todd Levin. I don't know if you know Todd.
No, but he's a Jew.
Yes, he writes for Conan.
Oh, okay.
And then we ended up living around the corner from each other. She lived with a guy.
Ooh.
Stole her away.
Nice.
No, it's one of those typical New York situations where they had like broken up, but they were on the lease.
Right. Yeah.
Been there.
Bad. So, I also find it fascinating that you lost 88 pounds.
I did, yes.
Yeah. So, were you a fat child?
Yes.
You were always overweight.
I was a fat baby, and I've always been like an accordion, just kind of in and out and in and out. And but I was always kind of on the precipice of, I was like a double XL, where I wasn't fat enough to shop at like the big and tall stores. For a brief period I was, but never skinny enough to be able to go into regular stores and just buy shit,
Now, you're really good looking and all that kind of. You have the face of like
That's
Mr.
very nice
privileged white guy, and you're handsome.
You look like an Aryan.
Now,
I will say losing weight made it harder for me on stage in certain ways.
Right.
It sounds dumb to say.
No, it doesn't. It's people
I
are
lost
like,
my affability.
Right. So you should talk about how you were fat. Do you ever talk about how you were fat?
No. And people ask me this. No one wants to hear about accomplishment. Nobody wants to hear like not only fucking annoying LA actors who are pretending to be comedians.
You could take it from another thing that being skinny fucked up your career.
Lynn Copwood said that once. It's like you should tell people need to know who's driving the car.
Right.
It's like that's a good point.
But
I've never found a way to.
It's so interesting because now when I found out that about you, I thought of you differently.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. When I found out that you lost 88 pounds, I was like, oh, so he has a whole other perspective on life that I didn't think he had.
You always forget that that the way you see yourself is not how the world is perceiving you.
Right. I think the way I see I annoy myself. I'm annoying.
Amen.
And I shut up and I eat the fucking cuticles. I just like
I chew the hell out of my
that's
fingers.
bad. Are you on any antidepressants or anything?
I took. I'm too lazy. I took Adderall for a couple months, and it made me a little. Honestly, I probably should try again because I zone out a lot. I just kind of disappear and I go off into my head, and I need focus. Like I'm not nearly as productive as I'd like to be. And but I've been surrounded by people my entire life who pathologize everything.
Right.
And I just have a very knee-jerk reaction to just like
my ADD is so annoying because what I do is I always have to be doing something. So I'm like, task, then then another task comes in my head. So I'm like, all right, I'll go here and then I'll go back to and I'd have half done tasks.
Yeah.
But I have OCD, so I get really, I better finish it because I'm going to think about it. So that's how I got everything done. But it's like fucking annoying. Like, shut up.
I wish I was like
Shut the fuck up in my head.
I start a million things.
And I meditate a lot.
Judy also has perfection paralysis. So if something's not done exactly, completely right, the way it happens in the order in her brain, which is impossible to attain.
I sometimes think that I don't like finishing things because that it brings it down to earth in a way, and it can no longer be the wonderful thing that it is in my head. Do you know what I mean? That it makes it real.
That's bullshit.
I know, but it's stupid, but it is.
Fear of success, they call that.
Not even fear of success. It's just that it's like, oh, I have this beautiful Sistine Chapel in my head, and when I actually create it, it's going to be a fucking 2-room hut. you know what I mean? And it's like, I'd rather leave it in my head where it can be a Sistine Chapel.
Right. Now, when you met Cambry, your wife,
yes,
were you fat?
Yes.
You were?
And I got fatter.
And she loved you?
Bit. I've always accused my wife of being a chubby chaser. So I actually think she likes me much less now that I've lost weight.
Is that true?
She would deny it, but I think it's true.
Did your sex life get worse when you lost weight?
No, not necessarily worse, but I just feel like I did feel she's fine. It's all fine.
Say it. Say it.
I don't want to put thoughts. I don't want to, project thoughts on her. If she was here, I would ask her. But
what would you ask her if she were here?
I would say, "Did you want to fuck me more when I was fat?" And she would say no, and I would half believe her.
Okay.
So you believe she liked fucking you better when, like, does she say to you, "Oh, that guy's really hot and he's a fat guy"?
No, that has never happened. She never ever expresses sexual desire about anyone.
Not even me?
Not even you.
What?
It's shocking.
What?
You'd think.
She's so sexy, though.
I get a lot of straight women who like me.
I bet.
Of course.
I bet.
Oh,
yeah. You're what they call a flipper.
Yeah, I'm a dyke
flipper
master.
and dipper.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Flipper, dipper. Wow, that's really interesting. So
she has never. I think Cambry is like really intense on loyalty. Like that's a big thing for her.
I'm like that.
And I didn't get it when we started dating. Like I never had. I think I dated a woman for 2 years once, and then a couple years later, the same woman. But that was the only real relationship I ever had. Everything else was like 3 months here, 2 weeks here,
right.
and I didn't understand that. When you start a relationship and it gets serious, you have to really cut off all of those little back burner things. I still had kind of email relationships or as friends, and in my mind, these were just friends of mine. But I look back and I'm like, no, I can see that maybe these friendships are inappropriate and that there was gray area that and so. I don't doubt. I mean, I always say to her, it's like, surely you think about other people than me.
Right.
Like, I would not. I'm not a jealous person. I'm really not.
Right.
Surely you do. And she never really ever expresses like, oh my God, that dude is so hot.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Okay. Now, you have no kids.
No.
No desire to have kids?
No. Our first date, we went over our various family histories and we
decided
knew
not a
they'd
good
be
combo.
lobster babies.
Nice.
Which I have to say, my mother has, my father has these two cousins, Norman and Vivian. They're 93. They still get on planes and travel. I mean, they're slowing down. And my mother's 92 and she's in a nursing home. And I'm like, God, I saw them like a year ago. I said, Norman and Vivian, I can't believe it. They get on the planes and they're this and they do this. And she goes, you want to know why? No children. I'm like, thanks, Ma. That's really sweet. So you're going to be fine without the kids.
It's fine. Yeah. I mean, there are times. I mean, I'm at the age now where you do start to wonder. You get to a certain age and you realize like, oh, Halloween kind of sucks now and Christmas sucks now and all these things. Yeah, because you don't have kids. You get to a certain age,
but also
and you
have to realize did your brother who died have kids?
No.
So
no.
You're the last generation.
I'm the end. And that's fine. I kind of am fine to cauterize that line.
So, all right, I have a couple questions about your relationship. Well, first of all, you wrote on Tough Crowd.
For a year, yeah.
Was I on
the second year? Yeah. The only time I ever was allowed to be on the show, we were on the panel together.
Oh, really?
You scared the death
I
out of me.
did?
Oh, because I mean, I barely get you now, but I didn't get you at all. No, in terms of when you're being serious and when you're not. Like when you're actually angry and when you're just giving me the Judy face.
Right.
And because you have the loudest silence of maybe anyone I've ever met, other than my wife. In terms of you can give a look and it screams volumes, and I think that's
so weird because I am honestly the most sensitive.
Oh, I'm sure that's true.
Like, and
Totally.
I am like, you can ask any of my friends. Like, I'm the first one there in a crisis, or
I just mean that it's like you
she's
can look at
master
me.
of the deadpan.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You have a stone cold look, And I said something that it was kind of a high degree of difficulty joke. I don't remember. It was something about calling you a cunt, I think, but it was like a meta joke or something. I don't even remember exactly what it was. And it was one of those things where, when you're in an improv type situation, you're like, oh, I think I can see a great joke here. And can I get to it? And you don't know whether you've gotten it or not.
Right.
And you just gave me this look that just like made me feel like Pac-Man dying. They're like,
she probably fell in love with you in that moment. And that was the look because you made her speechless.
All right, whatever.
Maybe.
And so, did you have a big wedding with Cambry?
It was a lot of people, but it was casual.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah. Do you remember the old Galapagos art space out in Williamsburg?
Oh, yeah. With the little...
He asked me that question.
Sorry, boss.
Yeah, with the little pool and yeah, that's where we got married.
Lauren, do you know that place?
That look, right? Is it that look?
No,
something like that.
I'll get it. I'll get the look. Now, all right. So,
well, another thing about me is that, and this is, I think, part of a Northeastern attitude, is that I always imagine whatever anybody says to me, they're thinking twice as harsh.
Right.
Like if you say like, Christian, I'm a little upset with you right now. In my mind, you're saying I'm so fucking pissed at you.
Right. Well, because you had that mother who
but
extreme.
To me, but also I think I just grew up around a lot of people who kind of say the nice thing instead of what they're actually thinking.
Oh, I didn't.
And so, and that's actually one thing I like about being around Jewish people. Honestly, when I got out of college, I worked in.
He said Jewish.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so
Let's
sorry.
make more generalizations. Go on.
Well, at least the classic New York Jew archetype is.
Yeah.
My boss was this guy named Al Zuckerman, and he was sort of a famous literary agent. You know, Ken Follett was his big dude.
Oh, yeah, Kenneth.
He like basically rewrote First Wives Club.
Right.
And I would have to do his dictation every morning, and I would always fuck it up because I have horrible attention to detail when it comes to stuff like that. And he would yell at me. And he'd be like, "Wow, how did you miss this? You got it. There's a semicolon." And then he'd go back into his office, and I would feel like the biggest piece of shit in the world.
Right.
And then 30 seconds later, he'd walk in and say, "So, what are you doing this weekend?"
Right.
And I was like, I'd never been around somebody who just got it out like that.
Right,
Kind of like we were saying about the sneeze. It's just like he just feels something and he says it. It's like, wait, you didn't stifle that, and then
No, you got to say it, or you're fucked up. All right, so. All right. Well, then you had your big, you got on VH1, and then you did the.
Then I had my brief period of low tier success.
Right. How did you feel about yourself then? Did you think you were a big success?
No, I really played it wrong. I played it really wrong.
Why?
I was just grateful that people were giving me stuff to do, and it did not occur to me. And this is one thing, there's a lot about quote unquote millennial culture that annoys me. One thing I genuinely do admire is that there seems to be an innate understanding of, oh, cool, I got to do this thing. I better start working on the next thing.
Right.
And I'm just going to do it. And no, I don't have to ask permission, and nobody needs to knight me and tell me I'm allowed to do it. I'm just going to do it. And I've always had this idea of like, well, nobody told me I could do this. Nobody said.
Oh, no, you got to fucking. I get up.
Trust me, I realize that now.
On to the next. Always on to the next. But not taking away from what's going on now.
Yeah, I was just very like happy. Like I always felt like I was perpetrating a fraud.
Right.
You know that the
people were going to find you out.
They're going to find out.
Yeah, I went through that in therapy. They're going to find out that I'm really not funny, and I'm really.
And it's actually a big relief now because people have finally figured it out, and now it's much easier to operate from a place of.
Now
you're just a loser.
Now you and your wife, Cambry, fight a lot.
Yeah, not as much anymore. Well, yeah, not as much as we used to.
All right, because this is something I love to talk about because Elisa and she's going to get mad that I say we do fight, and it's like passionate.
I don't trust couples who don't fight.
I don't either.
That's the thing. It's like, I love you, hey baby, hey nana. It's like, really? You cannot tell me you're married to someone and they don't fucking get on your nerves.
No.
Yeah. To me, that's not real love. To me, real love is a slog. That's a nice pull quote. But I don't, you're not being honest with each other.
Right.
There's a yin yang thing that I think happens in couples, and yin doesn't always get along with yang.
Right.
That's why they're not the same.
So what is we have repeat fights.
Oh yeah,
Elise
greatest
and
hit fights.
And I have, I often, like when she starts in, when I know a lot of times the fighting is, it's the negative attention, like I'm not paying attention. I tend to live in my head a lot, and I honestly, it's sick. But like if I find myself standing for a minute. And just standing, I have to read something. Like I have to. It's a waste of time if I'm not learning something. Like I have this whole I have to learn. I want more knowledge, knowledge. But anyway, so I tend to like be in my head a lot, and I don't realize that like normal people need attention.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I give my kids attention, but because I didn't get any, so but. I feel like sometimes I neglect her. So she will start a fight about something else because she feels
neglected. It's like poking you to get your
right.
attention.
You'll get distracted.
Right. I do get distracted.
And it feels personal.
Right. So what is your basic, like what are your repeats?
Well.
And sometimes like I say to her, this is such... because I couldn't take it, so I've tried everything. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna try that again. This time, I'm like make believe I'm the director.
Yeah.
That was a great take. I'll do that.
That's awesome.
I'll do the. Oh my God! I already read this script, and we passed on it. Like I do all this shit, and she's like, ugh! But what do you like? So let me. What's
my favorite? And when I say favorite, it's the thing I do that probably is the meanest thing that you can do, or not meanest, but it pisses her off the most.
Right.
But I feel very justified. Is sometimes she won't accept that I just feel differently about something, and she'll try to bludgeon me into.
Thinking the way she thinks?
Yeah. And I'll tell her, I was like, listen, you're going to keep going with this. And I will eventually agree with you because I want to go on for the rest of the day. But I want to tell you now, before we get to that point, I don't agree with you. And later, no matter what happens from this point forward, I don't agree with you.
Right.
But we can continue now.
But it's...
And then you say, yes, honey, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
So she just dismisses your opinions and thoughts and point of view.
Cambry lives very organically, which is one of the things again, a yin yang thing. I always feel like I'm wrapped in bubble wrap all the time emotionally. Like God,
I want to teach you. I taught Lauren.
Yeah.
I'm
Lauren.
learning.
I'm still learning.
No, but come on, Lauren. You wrote some fucking.
Are you kidding? No. Yeah. What you've done? Yes.
Oh my God.
I think that's what catalyzed my depression.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually,
but it'll be gone. That's what did mine.
It is depleting,
right?
But that you were there for me through that also, because you'd been through something similar,
right? Was
very helpful. Thank you.
A lot of people cry in the class and stuff, but people get so much work. It's amazing in the class that I teach. Because in their writing and what they really want to write about, I make them write about what scares them, like the thing that they don't want to write about. Mm-hmm. But what happens is they sort of purge it and they get so much confidence like, hey, yeah, you see it for what it really is.
You're right. It's like, this is not the 10-foot shadow.
Yeah, because Karen, remember, I had this student, Karen. She was in her 40s. She had moved like 53 times in her life. 53 times. And
running away,
and it got all about what is a home, what are you afraid of,
yeah.
And she hadn't worked, got this great tour on the road, has been working ever since. It's like it's really incredible because it really it sort of revitalizes those.
I used to think of being trans as a birth defect, and you've actually working with you in class and writing this shit out and writing my one-person show helped me. I mean, you helped me not see it like that.
Right.
See, maybe it's the era I grew up in, but I hear the word trans, and all I think of is
Transformer.
No, Trans Am, man. Trans.
Oh, I think Transformer more than me.
Trans equals cool in my mind.
Okay,
oh yeah, me
too. So what is the last fight you had with Cambry?
Oh my God. Well, you have to understand, Cambry.
I love how you picked the cuticle.
Oh yeah, Keith yelled at me on his podcast.
Wait, can we get a photo of our hands?
Yeah, my thumb is just all
this
scar
is like,
tissue.
You can hold them up to
I got this thing. I got this indentation on my nail thing, but this one
Yeah.
My mother's dying, and I think I'm taking it out on this finger.
I pick my face. That's my
not
thing.
good. But I've been doing this since I remember. Far back as I
My
can
dad
remember.
actually had a bonding thing about it like 15 years ago, and he's like, "Do you chew on your fingers?" Like, yeah. It's like, and you can't stop till it bleeds, right?
And
like,
it bleeds, and
that's
then
exactly
I
it.
have friends. We all send pictures.
Do you know how many times I've been on a TV show or whatever?
Oh my God! And you look at your hand. I did Louis,
and then you're holding your finger trying to stop the bleeding,
right,
like
you do that.
while you're
oh
on
my
TV.
God! I do that all the time. Or I have like on Louis, I have a Band-Aid. I'm like, ugh, and it's all red around. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And then I went through one period where I wasn't doing it at all. And I kept saying, oh my God, like I was conscious of the fact that I didn't even want to do it. And now I'm in a play and I fucking do it all the fucking time.
I don't know. I wish that I had been diligent about creating an Excel spreadsheet about, okay, I didn't chew my fingers today. What was my day?
I know,
I did chew my fingers. What was my day today?
Elisa,
It's
my
not too late.
partner, this is the thing. I can't deal with when other people are picking their finger. Like Elisa, my partner, no, you're fine. Elisa, my partner, is a big finger she's a therapist, which was the worst thing I could ever, because I'm already fucking analyzing. Like we had a fight.
That seems crazy.
First of all,
to me
she
that you have
does
a
it
therapist.
and she does it and it's like I'm like, stop it. And I feel like when she's chewing on the skin, it's like she's having an aperitif. You know what I mean?
It drives
like,
my wife crazy.
I know. So and two people in a relationship that fucking chew their fingers. Like, can't she have Anyway, we had a fight. So we were watching Louis. And it was the second episode of this season. I was on the season premiere. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah,
I haven't
you
seen
were.
the season.
Oh my God. Anyway, so there's a scene where he is shopping with his kids and he really has to take a shit. And they have to run out of the store and like he's got to walk home and he's holding the shit in. And, it's about him having to take a shit. And his daughters are like, he goes into a bodega and the guy's like, sorry, you can't use the bathroom. And the girl's like, what? You're a nasty man that you won't let my so anyway, I'm laughing because I've been where I think the shit's going to come out of my ass or the pee's going to come out. And because I'm so not focused on it. And then all of a sudden it's not like I have to pee. It's like I have to fucking, And so, like when you're on stage and you forget everything, every physical element. Anyway, so I'm laughing because I think it's so funny. And she's like, it's not funny. The daughter was upset. The daughter's really upset. I'm like, oh my God. Like, what? You don't understand. The daughter is really upset. I'm like, oh my God, it's a fucking television show.
That's why it's funny.
But then she gets mad at me that I don't think that I'm like, so you and then because like when you're with a therapist, I'm not kidding. There's no normal fight. So it's like you have
everything is subtext for something else.
Right. So it starts at this was one that happened yesterday. So actually this morning we're driving over from her apartment to get her eyebrows done in my house. Anyway, that's a whole other issue. But Jen comes to my house, apartment, does eyebrows. She's amazing. Anyway, so we're driving over and she's telling me the story about bumping into some guy that used to live in my apartment building at the grocery store on the east side and blah. And my phone rang and I picked it up, which I shouldn't have done. Like I should have said, because it didn't ring because it was off. I just saw it and she's in the middle of talking and I'm like, hello. And all right. So I realized even when I was doing it, this is not going to be good. So instead of, so I hung up, nothing. And then I asked her a question and she fucking screams at me. You fucking don't listen. And I said, can you tell me the rest of the story? No, I can't tell you that. Now it goes from that argument to, I don't deserve her, and she's not sleeping over tonight. It goes from that to some like DSM-3 mental illness. Like if we watch, I don't know if you do this with Cambry. Do you watch shows together?
Oh yeah,
and that you can't watch the episode without her.
Some shows, sometimes. Now we how some couples start sleeping in separate beds?
Yes.
We recently decided we're going to watch Game of Thrones separately because she ruins it for me.
Nice.
Right, yeah.
She
Elisa
doesn't
talks.
enjoy...
And
Cambry can't not be in her computer or be doing something,
No, I've tried to put all that shit away. But here's the deal. So this is totally true. I watched a Mad Men episode. Only not all of it, but some of it. And anyway, so we were watching it and I go, oh, this next part is good.
Uh-oh.
Meanwhile, she's fucking watched so much shit and lied to me about it. So then I said, You watched it without me? And she starts screaming. Meanwhile, I'm fucking watching it again.
Yeah.
You know? And then it goes from that I watched it, that I am a compulsive liar and no one trusts me. It goes like literally to a mental illness. Like there's no regular, her family never fought with each other. They never had arguments. They just, everything was like Stepfordy, you know, great. Right. And so I really think she doesn't know how to fight. I feel like if you're in a relationship, you need to know how to fight correctly. Do you fight? Do you and Cambry fight the same way?
Well, the thing is, like, I think we gotta. Cambry lives very organically, and when Cambry is happy, she's very happy.
Right.
And when she's upset, she's very upset, and it reveals itself. Like, she has no poker face when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
And so a lot of times the fights happen because I'm not where she is emotionally,
right.
positively or negatively.
Right.
And she wants me to either play along or be angry about something that she's not that she's angry about,
right.
and then she can be mean sometimes, but she's also much more loving than I am, and also much meaner than I am.
So she's more in touch with her feelings and lets them go.
She doesn't even.
Passionate.
She would not be able to stifle her feelings if she wanted to. Well, she has this weird thing that happens with her chin. Whenever she's upset, it just instinctively her chin curls, and so it's such a tell. It's so revealing.
Yeah, Elisa's face completely, like, when she gets angry, I'm like, I call her Andrea. I'm like, here comes Andrea, and it's like a different person, and I'm like, snap out of it.
It's a blackout. It's almost like a blackout, right?
Right. It's like, oh my God, can we go back to Elisa? You know, it's.
Yeah.
I can identify with some of Elisa's mental stuff. I feel like I have a lot of that too. I have a lot of yours too.
Whatever.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
So,
I'm like
do
your
you
child.
think if you were more like Cambry, like really able to let everything out, that you would
sometimes, and this I think maybe happens with a lot of relationships, maybe even with a lot of guys specifically. Sometimes I feel like I have to freak out just to prove that I am upset, and that somehow snaps her out of it.
But like,
if I lose my mind, she snaps out of it.
But are you really losing your mind, or are you doing it for her?
There have been a couple times where I was just flat out doing it for her.
And she doesn't know the difference.
No, it has an effect. I think all of a sudden when you see somebody yelling and screaming, your initial thing is like, whoa.
Women do that when they cry to elicit, like sometimes men won't take, or sometimes people in general won't take you seriously unless you're crying or you're showing how upset you are.
Right.
If you're keeping composure, you're not taken as seriously. But if a woman starts to cry,
it's so weird because the women can't cry, but John Boehner can fucking cry. Like if Hillary Clinton cries, she's a wuss. John Boehner cries like, you know, ladies and gentlemen, how do you vote? It's like,
honestly though, I actually feel like Hillary Clinton might be the only woman in politics who might actually benefit from crying publicly.
No.
I think that
she did
people
cry once.
Well, she did in her poll, and that was when she ended up winning New Hampshire over Obama.
That's what I mean. Like when women cry, it's like, whoa, everybody step back. A woman's crying.
But I think her, persona is so set in stone as this sort of feelingless ice queen or whatever. She's probably the only woman in the public realm who that actually might help. 99.9% of women,
talk to all these underprivileged kids in third world countries who she's gone and spoken to, that's who they remember. They remember her saying,
she's a human being like everybody.
Right.
You have to put on a public face
and the shoulder pads.
Yeah,
she doesn't wear shoulder pads anymore.
The thing about Hillary, and I know
metaphor. Go.
The thing about Hillary is, my concern about her, or not concern, is that I think she's more of a workhorse than a show horse. I think that she's a better employee than a boss, if that makes sense. And employee is not even the right word. She's the one you want running the show. She's the one you want she'd be a good chief of staff.
Right.
I think that
Or First Lady.
No, not First Lady. That's demeaning. I mean, I'm not trying. No, I'm not.
Because she was running the show behind every great man.
No, I'm not saying you're demeaning. You were demeaning, but I'm saying I don't want to diminish how unbelievably fucking talented she is.
I wasn't
but I just
diminishing.
think that. Oh no, I know you weren't. I'm saying to.
You were projecting.
Say it.
That's what
Get mad. Get mad at that.
Fuck you, Lauren.
Yeah, I like that. Because Lauren
I'm talking now.
and it's like, shut the fuck up. I have a thought.
Yeah.
Go.
But I think that every time she tries to kind of be an orator, or to be a inspirational
or communicator.
Communicator. She's just not. She's not gifted.
But it's fine because before TV, we had presidents who were great and probably weren't telegenic or.
No, you're right. But I think that part of the thing about being the president is almost like a figurehead role. It's having a charisma. Right. You're being the national face, and I think that's why people glommed onto Reagan so hard. Is above and beyond the politics, and you can find a million things that people are like. Ronald Reagan never raised taxes. Like, yeah, he did, like 150 times.
Know. He wouldn't even get elected.
But the reason that people still idolize him is because he just had that demeanor.
Right, of course.
That he's our national face.
That's really all you need to have as the president is charisma.
And that's what's so pathetic. But you know what? I wish we could get past that and be like, she's brilliant. She knows all these world leaders.
I do sometimes feel like she's so incredibly political with the way she interprets things. Like,
well, of course. Look at how they've gone through every fucking, detail of her life and brought it. I mean, she's been spied on and.
But
I don't know.
She's a poll watcher, though. That's the thing about Hillary is that, and that's true of not just Hillary. It's true of Bill Clinton too.
Right.
I mean, Bill Clinton was worse in that sense.
Right.
But sometimes you do get the feeling of like if everybody started, wearing green shoes, and Hillary saw that there's 10 more votes and wearing green shoes, and she'd start wearing green shoes. You know, there's that sort of fear.
All right, so wouldn't you want?
Oh my God, she's above and beyond the person who should be president.
Right.
I mean, it's not even a question.
All right, I get it.
But it's one of those things where it's like, all right, yeah, of course. And if anyone has earned it, she has. Mm-hmm. But I can't say that the idea of 8 years of a Hillary Clinton presidency excites me. It doesn't make me scared,
right?
But it doesn't excite me,
right?
Well,
we all want to be excited instead of. That's what we want. We live.
I know.
On
We
the
want
excitement.
the thrill, and
that's why the ding on your phone, is like a thing in your brain. That's like, you want to be excited. How about having someone who's really capable?
Yeah,
who's going to keep us safe?
No one's really going to care about that until all of our iPhones break.
This has ruined me. These iPhones.
Yeah.
I remember I was on All American Girl, this sitcom in 94, 95. Yeah. And I remember we got canceled, and
Wait, that's not on the air anymore?
And I went
right after Are We There Yet?
I did Are We There Yet?
That's right. Which episode were you in again?
I was the HR. I'm always the HR person. I was the HR person on Ugly Betty. It was the sexual harassment thing.
Yes. I don't think I was in that one.
So I remember I auditioned for a pilot. Actually, it was they had already bought 6 episodes on UPN. Remember that network?
Yeah, sure.
All right. And I auditioned, and I was on my way to North Carolina. It was a Thursday to do a weekend. And I remember my agent said, we didn't have cell phones. Go home. I was all packed to go. Go home and wait. And because we don't know if you're going to be able to go because you're, I went to the network and, you start the next day, right?
That's way more exciting.
And I remember sitting there. I'm like, oh, is the phone going to ring? You have no idea. And you can't text someone and say, waiting, wait,
Yeah.
And I literally had to make myself busy and, and I'm waiting to decide, and I don't want to get on the plane and go, I really want this thing. And then I feel bad if I canceled the last minute. Anyway, they called and said, you're not getting on the plane, which I was so excited. But that, no one knows what it's like to feel anticipation anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that's it's like arguing with weather. I mean, it's just the way the world is changing. I mean, I think that we, people of our age, our generation, have it really hard right now. What I kind of refer to in my mind as tweeners, where it's like we have to, especially in our business, we have to be savvy enough to deal with all of these sort of new communication trends and new ways of living,
right.
but we're not from that world. Mm-hmm. So we're not old enough to be above it, and we're not young enough to sort of get it intuitively.
We had to go through the transition and relearn
I constantly
everything.
feel like the dad
I'm
rapping.
older than you guys.
But not much.
That's
I'm
true.
42.
And yet,
I'm 52.
all of us had to read a paper map and deal without a cell phone here. That's
Yes.
all I'm saying.
And so I think that we aren't in a position.
I remember when the Walkman came out.
So do I.
I remember when the remote control came out.
And rollerblades, and we could go on and on.
I am the host. You are the co-host. I'm the fucking host. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I remember answering machine. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember music videos. When I first heard about music videos, I thought they were like laser shows. I didn't realize what they were. And
I thought, now you're going to tell me what I should be thinking about when I listen to the song. Like that it's
distilling it into this one image. Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't like it at all because I
watched
music.
MTV obsessively. I won a car on a game show called Name That Video. Yeah.
What kind of car?
A Toyota 4Runner. Like an SUV.
What year?
It was whatever current. Would have been 2001.
Wow.
Yeah. I sold it back to Toyota. Saved my ass. I was like 22 grand in debt, and I sold the car for 24.5.
Awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah. No, it's completely saved my ass. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I mean, I just would sit and watch MTV all day. And so, yeah, you need to know about John Cougar Mellencamp videos.
I spent all of my 20s and a lot of my early 30s in clubs, like every night. I don't remember TV shows from. I mean, literally
comedy clubs.
Comedy clubs.
Oh, that's the way I am with like the late '90s, like Friends, Seinfeld era.
Right.
Like I just don't know any of it.
Nothing.
Yeah, I know nothing about it.
I know Seinfeld, but I never watched Friends. Okay, so I want to know what is really right now. I know this is going to be really hard for you. What is pissing you off the most right now?
There's so much. I'm
and
pissed
you have
off.
to be passionate about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll try to think of one
besides
simple
me.
one. I mean, other than myself, because that's not really what you're talking about. But I am pissed at groupthink. Especially when it comes to our business, where a meme sort of happens where people just decide that someone is funny.
Right.
And then all these unpaid bloggers who are just trying to act, they all just buy into like, oh, have we decided we like that person? And then they'll get into this circle jerk talking about how great this person is. And meanwhile, it's nothing against the person. They're just doing what they do.
Right.
But a lot of them aren't very good,
Right.
you know, or whether they're good or not is almost independent of whether they're celebrated.
Right.
Because you've seen it happen with great people like Hannibal Buress is somebody who like this sort of collective buzz just decided happened, but he's fucking hilarious and deserves it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's other people
like
who,
Bridesmaids, the movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that deserved it, you know, and then there are other things.
I want
You
more.
don't like Bridesmaids?
Oh,
you're
to
mentally
differ.
ill. That's crazy.
I am not mentally ill.
That's
Every
crazy.
woman in it
Lauren.
is wonderful, but
Crazy. It's
Lauren,
a good movie.
I want
Terrible.
Christian to continue.
Continue, Christian.
Go.
But yes, I mean, and obviously, as we just saw, we all have a different idea of which are the undeserving things, you know. But I just hate, you know, the way things are now. I think I'm still of the era where something being in print, it makes me take it seriously. And somebody wrote this for a magazine, a masthead, or whatever. That must mean that they know what they're talking about.
Right.
And now it's all stringers.
It.
They're all just unpaid bloggers,
right?
And
they don't get paid. Like journalists do not get paid.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, there's even the term journalist. I mean, we still use it. But most of the people that write articles for New York Magazine or Vulture or all of these blogs, the AV Club, all the sort of quote unquote taste you know, back in the day, there was like 5 gatekeepers. Carson was a gatekeeper. If you did Carson, you had a career. Now there are 1,000 gatekeepers, but none of them can afford a gate.
Right.
They're all just
right.
And
I like that.
This collective
that's a good one.
buzz that happens, and and maybe I wouldn't feel so bad if I didn't feel like I was one of those other people that they've just decided isn't important.
Right.
And so that frustrates me sometimes.
It's a thing. It's that whole they thing. They. Like my mother used to always say, "Oh, that's what they're wearing." I'm like, "Who's they?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are they? It's
Yeah.
like it's very annoying where people have to decide, let other people decide.
And I just feel like so much of it is just laziness. It's pure laziness.
Right.
It's like this super collider of opinion happens where like, oh, this is the comedian that we've all decided is good now.
Right.
I better write
Like,
my
all right,
article about them.
I'm going to say something that will be a little controversial.
No.
So, the show At Midnight?
Yes.
Now, I feel like I don't understand it a lot because of my generation, because where I come from. So, it's very fast paced. It's very loud. I get sort of this sensory overload.
Yeah, it's kind of coming at you.
Right. And so, and I see people my age and older who are, doing the hashtag and stuff like that. And I don't know. What are you laughing at? They
doing the hashtag.
Doing the hashtag war thing.
I will say specifically what I don't like about that. And, and I know a couple people who are, EPs on that show and they're good people and I'd like to do it at some point.
I want to do it. Yeah, I'd love to do it.
But what I hate specifically about the hashtag game is they just took that. That was something that existed on Twitter.
Absolutely,
anyway.
yeah.
And those used to be really fun when somebody would come up with some funny hashtag and then it would just sort of organically happen on its own. And then the show just said, hey, we're going to just have that now.
Well,
and now there are no other hashtag games anymore. It's all, they just
Chemda had a
took
hashtag
possession
game
of it.
before that she called Hash It Out, and it was basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's all,
everybody was doing it, but like you said
it's like
earlier.
when Jimmy Fallon takes we now own ping pong or whatever.
Or
Glee owns your script.
Exactly. Or
it's
owns
like,
a song.
But it's like, I feel like it's sort of the reason I think it bombards my senses is that they automatically laugh at the cadence of whatever. And a lot of it isn't funny. It's just like, insert laugh here.
Yes.
And I can't take that. I can't. Bridesmaids is annoying because why do women have to be like shitting and farting and doing all that shit to be funny? Like but...
I could not disagree more.
Okay.
I think they have
that's
to
why
be
you're
shitting
not
and
the
farting.
host.
No.
Okay. But the thing is that, so I don't get that. Like, and I'm really anal. I should be one of those continuity people.
Speaking of shitting and farting.
I can, I will have no co-host on my next podcast. I just want you to know that.
Good to know.
No, I feel like, I see, that they edit it. And so the scores are always,
we can always, and also it's like we can see behind the curtain, and we can tell like, oh, that's canned laughter, that's a quick edit. Oh, someone is about to say something, and now they're not. That must mean that bombed,
right? Which, so it's just always taking the. Okay, that got a laugh. We'll put that in. We'll get,
You're right. Instead
of just, maybe that's funny to some people and not funny. Like if you look at the old SNL skits, they're much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're not some of it's serious. What happened?
I mean, this is where everything you're saying is completely true, but it is a completely this fight ended a long time ago.
Right.
We lost a long time ago.
Well, I think it's also what's happening in society, in the news, in the, it's like we wanted a lot of goofy kind of yuck humor in the early 90s when we were going through a recession and this like weird, you know what I mean? All this.
Well, there is a very...
now there's a little bit more of a, I feel there's a little bit more of a...
but I think in the 70s, All in the Family, Maude, the Mary Tyler Moore, those are... such well-written shows. Like All in the Family, you would never sell that.
But look at the climate around then. You know what I mean? I feel like we were just heightened. We were paying attention to different things. We wanted different things. And now we're seeing ISIS and all this bullshit, everything. We just want a bunch of poop and fart jokes right now.
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I think everything is a reaction to whatever preceded it. It's like whatever my dad thinks is funny, I don't. And I think that mean is not very popular right now. Mm-hmm. Angry is not very popular. Like everybody wants,
it was in the thousands.
Smiles and we love everything and everything is awesome and things are cool.
They're afraid to be angry.
Well, I don't know if they're afraid, but I just think some things come in vogue and some things don't. Sometimes pants are bell bottoms. Sometimes they're, tapered, whatever. It's like, and everything is kind of reaction to what preceded it.
I think the country is getting angry right now, and that's what we want now.
I think you make me angry.
I love you.
Wow. This was very interesting, Christian.
See, I bring things to a
No, you don't.
dark place.
No, Christian,
What are you
this is a
fucking
great
talking
conversation.
about?
dude.
I
Yeah.
like this conversation.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah, not everything has to be funny.
That's the thing that I'm talking about. It's like, so because I'm a comedian, every fucking thing we talk about has to get No, I'm a person. I'm
You are.
interested in different things. By the way, I just looked at my phone and the fucking NQ is not working.
You're kidding me.
No. So now I'm going to have to take a...
Kill me now.
Eric, are you going to the Upper East Side? I'll be going
Look
with
at
Eric.
that.
Oh, well, I'm
love
going
us.
with you guys.
No.
I'll be running behind the car.
Christian, so
Yes, ma'am.
you're on what?
I'm on Twitter
What is it?
at Christ Finnegan.
Now, the Christ Finnegan.
This
Do
is
you
something.
get shit? Because I get shit for at Judy Gold, JEWDY.
This was something when I first. I'm still an AOL user, for the record.
I just
have
got
Gmail.
off.
But
Yeah.
why? This is okay. This
You know
okay.
why?
You want to talk about something that
Because
pisses
it
me off?
sucks.
Okay, this is something I wish we'd spent the entire time talking about. Because
Hey, how you doing? I got the story. I got the scoop.
Because, first of all, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not a fucking sex offender. It's a fucking email platform. Get over it. They all do the same thing. AOL just copied everything fucking Gmail does anyway. There's nothing you can do in Gmail that you can't do in AOL. I have archived every email I've ever written that I can look up. Why should I change just
I don't
to
think
change?
you should change.
Like, there's nothing.
I had to change because I would go on AOL and all I would do was start reading Huffington Post. I had to do it because I wasted so much time reading the fucking news. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I have to send an email out.
Yeah, see, all I
so
do is
I
check
had to
emails.
do that.
Yeah. But I get annoyed by this sort of idea that like, oh, you're still in AOL. It's like, why would how would my life be better? It's
Right.
like, yeah, and then I'd have to respond to every fucking email for a year that comes to my AOL. Oh, I'm not using this account anymore. Please
Right.
go to Gmail, whatever.
There are
Why?
automated responses.
Yeah, I
But
have
then
an
you still have to
automated.
check. You still have to check. Anyway,
I think it's because for a minute right after Gmail came along,
It was
like
better.
Hotmail and AOL. I mean, they really were pieces of shit, and so it's become a hack
but
joke.
they copy everything. It's like if some other restaurant started just selling Whoppers or selling Big Macs, not something like the Big Mac, literally the Big Mac, same sauce, same burger, same bread, everything. Why the fuck would it matter from whom you bought your Big Mac?
Let me tell you, Big Daddy's, the restaurant, has the Big Mac Daddy.
I used
which
to
is the
work
Big
there.
Mac. It's a Big Mac.
It's basically a Big Mac, yeah.
Yeah.
But better meat.
But yes,
Okay.
but at the time, you could only have a certain number of characters in your email address. I mean, that's how long
Right.
ago this was, mid-90s or whatever. And Christian Finnegan was too long. And I didn't...
So
and I-
you became Christ Finnegan.
I hate when people call me Chris. So
I said Christ.
I know. That's why I had to have Christ.
I
'cause
like
I didn't
it.
want it to be Chris
I think it's
Finnegan.
funny.
But now it looks like I have delusions of grandeur, which is
No.
fine.
Not really.
I like it.
Me too. You're a comedian. They can go suck my
whole-
phantom
So you're
cock.
at Christ Finnegan,
Yes.
and then you're ChristianFinnegan.com. You have a website.
Yes, I have a...
And I bet I can guess what your AOL email address is, but I'm not.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Oh, the cat's out of the bag.
And you have a new show. I mean, a new room that you
Yeah, well,
opened
that's what
with
you're
your
talking
wife.
about, like what my wife and I fight about. I mean, it's all about 6 months ago. It's our money, it's her space. That's the way I describe
Right.
it to people. It's called QED, and it's the sort of tagline is after school for grown-ups.
Right.
So it's like during the day, especially on the weekends, there's classes, juggling classes, henna
Right.
tattoo classes, screenwriting intensives,
Right.
blah blah blah. Tonight there's a drink and draw, and then at night it's shows. A lot of comedy, but also storytelling, music, poetry.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been really exciting, but
It's
it's
a
just,
nice space.
It's a grind, man. It's a
Oh, please.
My
of
wife's
course.
working like 90 hours a week, and so she's just
Right.
a raw nerve all the time.
I'm really proud of her. I mean, she's really the two of
Yeah.
you have really turned that place around. It is a gorgeous.
Yeah, we're
You know,
really-
I'm really proud of you, and the two of you have really turned that place around. It's a really gorgeous.
You're right, boss.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. I really-
you too.
I know.
You too.
I want to do.
We want you to be
something
there. We want you to be there. It's we're really people who have performed there. it's a really welcoming vibe. Like I do a monthly new material show.
Right,
there.
I'm doing that.
Yes, I want you to do it. And the comedians who've done it have found it to be very productive because it has a little bit of a crowd that seems to be, not a huge crowd, but they come and it's a perfect environment to like work on shit.
Right, and no one's videotaping it or recording
Exactly.
I love that.
So, yes, QED Astoria. It's called QED. And,
what does QED stand for?
It stands for Quadrata Monstrandum.
It is a nerd joke.
It's a crossword puzzle clue because we're crossword puzzle dorks. But it means that which has been demonstrated.
Right.
And we kind of, since it's like showing and telling, it's like classes and shows, like demonstrations.
Right.
And then also sort of doubles as Queen's Ed.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And it just has a nice little ring.
Good luck with
Awesome.
that,
Thank
Christ
you.
Finnegan.
QEDAstoria.com. Please come.
So fun.
I know. Astoria is now like the cool place to be.
It is.
I know.
You should move out here. You could get a...
Yeah, I know. My kid goes to school in Manhattan.
All right.
I hate that's the other kill me now. We have to do one on the you shoulds. When people tell me, "Oh, you know what you should do?" You know what you should do? Shut the fuck up. That's what you should do.
I just want to be close to you.
No, I have friends that are always like, you should. Christian,
You should stop hanging out with those people.
I know. That's funny the way he.
Yeah. See.
Christian,
I
thank
did a
you.
thing. I did a thing.
Thank you for being on Kill Me Now.
Thank you for having me.
We are on every week on the CBS Podcast Network. I don't even know, whatever. I am Judy Gold. You can tweet me at JEWDYGOLD. JudyGold.com. That's spelled the regular way. I'm on Facecock. I'm on the Instagram. Christian Finnegan, where I hate
I don't do Instagram. And,
I don't even know how to do it. My son did it.
I don't care about pictures.
Lauren Hennessy, my kind of co-host, at Lauren Hennessy, at Judy's assistant.
JW.
But we're just people, and we're not our Twitter names.
That's so true.
You know?
I
am not an emoji.
Yeah, I am not.
I'm Judy's assistant.
That's right. And that's who you are.
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.